So, the Santtu Pesonen Project's debut EP was released 10 years ago today. Now, I don't really have a script for this video, I very rarely do scripts anyway, but given that it's such a big milestone, I just wanted to sort of make a celebratory video rambling about mostly the debut EP, but also how far I've come since then. I still vividly remember the day I started the Santtu Pesonen Project, Christmas Eve of 2012. Fun fact, that actually happened on a holiday trip to Iceland. I was there with my family at the time. Our hostess lent me her computer, her laptop, happened across this site called Bandcamp, decided to make an account, decided to essentially establish the project that's taken me as far as a music producer as it has to this day. I named it the Santtu Pesonen Project, after myself, obviously. And 3 days later, when we got back from Iceland, I decided to make a shitty little instrumental track, which would have been Eden Intermission. Was actually the first track I ever made under the project. So I released that as a single on December 27th, that year, 2012. Another single, named Metalhead, followed January 6th, 2013, if I remember correctly. And I believe by the time Metalhead was released, I'd also made the Facebook page, YouTube channel, all that jazz. Wasn't very active on Twitter back then yet, so that's kinda why the Santtu Pesonen Project Twitter account didn't exist until 2016 or so. Anyway, so after Eden Intermission and Metalhead, the two singles I released, I made a few more tracks, and on March 5th, 2013, the Santtu Pesonen Project EP was released. Seriously can't believe it's been 10 years now, holy shit. Now, as far as the Santtu Pesonen Project is concerned, from a purely historical perspective, at the time I started working on the debut EP, the sort of primary focus of it was the music. It still is, to an extent, don't get me wrong, but listening back to the debut EP, it sounds like total fucking garbage. It sounds like utter shit. And a lot of the reason behind why it sounds like shit was the gear I used and a general lack of know-how, a lack of knowledge about music production. The debut EP was tracked on a USB microphone, and as far as mixing, just the general sound quality of the EP, holy shit, it sounds bad, seriously. I didn't even try to mix the tracks. I just fucking recorded them. No effects whatsoever, no processing whatsoever, except on I guess the little backing vocal track on Brothers that had a basic ass Reaper chorus on it, if I remember correctly. Or maybe a phaser. No, I'm pretty sure it was a chorus, anyway. Back when I made the debut EP, I had no experience whatsoever in actually mixing anything. I was very new to the whole music production thing at that point. That said, in hindsight, that was not an excuse to release the EP in the state that it was in. Essentially all raw tracks, recorded with a shitty USB mic. Basically no effort at all put into the actual production aspect. Then again, the music was sort of the sole focus of the project back then. But even saying that, I do wish I'd actually learned something about music production back then, in hindsight. Learned how to use compression, learned how to use EQ, learned how to use basically any other effect that's used in music production. Learned how to make things sound good at the source, which in parts would also have entailed the gear I used at the time. I wouldn't have used a shitty USB microphone to track the WEP. And the 3 albums afterwards, because I do remember that I upgraded my gear for Soulscape when I started working on that. Actually got an audio interface, actually got a proper microphone. And when I say proper microphone, I mean like one that works through XLR, not USB. But as much as I hate the WEP from a production standpoint, in a way I'm still proud of it. If for no other reason than it essentially kickstarting what eventually became a learning experience, essentially. The importance of the Santtu Pesonen Project, as far as the music production side of things, cannot be understated. Granted, I have the other 2 solo monikers, MFG38 and Heck Razor, and ironically I've made more music under the MFG38 moniker than the Santtu Pesonen Project. But that said, the Santtu Pesonen Project was still the first of those. It's chiefly thanks to this specific solo project of mine that I've come as far as a music producer as I have. And also as a songwriter, because I was not the best at that back when I started the project and released the debut EP. Granted, I'm still not a very good songwriter, but at the very least I've come far from those early days of the project. Alright, I think that's enough of the rambling part of the video, because I do actually have some business to discuss as well. And when I say business, I mean business almost literally. So, in case you weren't aware, wouldn't be surprised if you weren't, given my immense social media presence. I started slapping price tags onto my releases with the fall, back when I released that. And with that, you can also now buy my entire discography, the entirety of the Santtu Pesonen Project catalog, plus a few non-project releases, which would be mostly singles. You can buy all of those in one neat package on my Bandcamp page. Now, how that relates to the WEP's 10th anniversary is I'm holding a discount in celebration of that. So for all of my paid releases, that is the Fall, the Syringe and Crazy Mystery double single, and the full discography, you can get 50% off of the prices of all of those with this code that's on the screen right now. So when you buy any of those releases, you should see a box into which you can enter said discount code, and that's gonna give you 50% off of the prices of the paid releases. The discount campaign is gonna be live for a week from when this video goes live. What I'm also thinking I might do is sort of a retrospective reaction livestream where I listen through the WEP while talking about the creative process behind it, the production process, and just generally my overall thoughts on the WEP, especially as far as the WEP as opposed to my current, more recent releases is concerned. So that may or may not be happening tonight. If it does, I'll tweet about it and post on Facebook. And obviously it's gonna be live streamed on this specific YouTube channel, if it does happen. Also, Help and 11 is underway, stay tuned. And yeah, I've said about everything I've wanted to at this point, so I'm thinking that's where I'm gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, go buy my music. Once again, here's the discount code. And again, that code gives you 50% off of anything on my Bandcamp page with a price tag on it. And on that note, I am out.